Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Minister Katie states that additional industries will provide new employment opportunities in Lebre. National Security Minister Brigadier John Sandy says curbing crime needs regional support. And in sport, Army brass pleased with Super 10. Thank you for joining us. To our top story. Trinidad and Tobago can look forward to numerous benefits in the future, including additional employment opportunities and more revenue earnings for citizens. This from Trade and Industry Minister Stephen Cadiz, who spoke at the signing agreement between the Trinidad and Tobago Free Zones Company Limited and Bradera Shaw Middle East Limited. Verna Bath reports.
Trade and Industry Minister Stephen Cadiz is boasting that Trinidad and Tobago has been able to attract different types of investors to its shores. Speaking at the signing agreement of a multi-million-dollar deal between Bradera Shaw Middle East Limited and the Trinidad and Tobago Free Zones Company Limited, Minister Cadiz announced that he welcomed the project, which he says will mean not only additional employment and revenue to citizens, but regional prosperity as well.
And all these projects are upwards. These are fairly nice projects. Some of them are brand new to the territory, which is good, because that means we are able to attract different types of businesses to Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of it is going to be about employing local people. In nearly every single case, we're looking at employing local, not only local staffing, but also local management to run these facilities.
Bradera Shaw Middle East is known to be the largest division of Shaw Coal Limited, which is a global energy services company specializing in products and services for the pipeline and pipe industry. The project involves re-establishing a pipe concrete coating facility and storage yard at Site A, Union Industrial Estate, Lebre. Project manager at Bradera Shaw Middle East Limited, Mr. Noel Corcoran, says the project will serve to benefit Trinidad and Tobago greatly.
We've been liaising for the last several months with the Labour Office at Lebre, so we're going to be employing a number of people from Guapo, Union Village, Lebre, Vicini, so within close proximity of the site at Site A, Union Industrial Estate.
How many people?
Well, it ranges depending on the phases that we go through, so it'll start off, we're approximately employing about 80 to 90 people at present. And then as the production increases, that'll ramp up upwards of about 150 people direct. Indirectly, we'll be employing a lot more, maybe 30, 40 truck drivers, cement that we'll be purchasing from Trinidad Cement, sand from National Quarries, the truck drivers that'll be transporting those. So upwards of about maybe 180 when things get going.
Minister Cadiz is also rolling out other multi-million-dollar investments, which he says will not only assist with employment, but can be seen as a huge export potential and an avenue to earn foreign exchange.
All of them have huge export potential, and therefore, you're talking about earning foreign exchange. Again, new types of business coming in means that Trinidad and Tobago is that much more attractive to other new types of businesses also. So I think this year, without a doubt, we're going to see the signing off of a number of these projects in 2012, which really and truly will put us right back on target where where we had actually planned for, which would be in excess of $1 billion a year in investment in the non-energy sector.
Verna Bath, News 4.
When we return, we'll tell you about attempts being made to curb trafficking of firearms in the Caribbean. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Anil and I have been a lifeguard for the past 7 years. This is my co-worker
Ian, and I have been a lifeguard for more than 19 years now.
You know guys, these flotation devices that we love to take to the beach, we are here today to talk to you about these flotation devices.
These flotation devices are boogie board, ball, noodles.
Hey Ian, don't forget, the inflatable rafts that you all love to bring to the beach, and others feel it's a water taxi, so everybody want to jump up on it. Now this thing can be real unstable when too much of people on it.
And you know something, Arnold? When they're on that, they're enjoying it, and they're not realizing they're waiting all the way on the outside. Eventually, when they realize that and they're looking and they see that they are so far out at sea, they tend to jump out of the raft.
Yes, and most of them cannot swim, so we now have to run out there and rescue them. So our best advice to you is do not bring these flotation devices to the beach.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Carjacking has become very prevalent in recent times. Certain makes of vehicles are more preferred targets for criminals. When approaching intersections or junctions, ensure that all doors are locked and windows are wound up if possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Thank you for staying with us. Curbing the level of crime in the region starts with collaboration and working together. It's for this reason members of the Protective Arms and Defense from across the Caribbean nations came together for a 10-day workshop aimed at improving their skills in the fight against illegal firearms trafficking. Gregory Reyes reports.
Attempts are being made to further equip law enforcement officers with the skills to curb trafficking of firearms and ammunition in the Caribbean. National Security Minister Brigadier John Sandy said training was needed as government looked to reduce the levels of homicide in the nation. The minister made the statement during the opening ceremony of a 10-day training course aimed at educating regional law enforcers on combating illicit trafficking of firearms, ammunition and explosives.
Governments across the region must remain committed to addressing this concern by taking decisive action to reduce the illegal and all too ready supply of guns to criminals. Trinidad and Tobago is doing its part in confronting this challenge.
The move comes as a result of collaboration with the United Nations, Canada, and several CARICOM states. Representative for the United Nations Center for Peace, Amanda Cowell, urged participants to take full advantage of the workshop.
The reason we are all gathered here today is to empower you, the law enforcement community, as our day-to-day defenders and safeguards, to make our communities safer and free from the scourge caused by the illicit trafficking in firearms. Over the next 10 days, you will have the opportunity to deepen your knowledge on international firearms instruments, practical disarmament measures, weapons classification and identification, as well as be privy to the latest the disarmament world has to offer with respect to armed violence, human security, appropriate use of force, gender perspectives, and youth protection.
Also at the opening was Police Academy Provost Steve Watt, who underscored the importance of the program. The 10-day course is being held at the Police Barracks St. James and is expected to give participants from various law enforcement agencies a chance to gain practical knowledge as well as skills in the fight against illegal firearms.
These illegal weapons, as we know, contribute to the loss of life. And unfortunately, lawfully held weapons are at times used for illegal purposes. This initiative will assist to address these matters from both a law enforcement and regulatory perspective. It is fitting that this course is being held at the Police Academy, a place of learning. The knowledge that you will gain over the next 2 weeks is not yours to keep, but yours to share. It is imperative that you take this information and build it into your operational practices and also into your basic and in-service training programs and put it to work in the field.
Gregory Reyes, News 4.
As hundreds of students get set to sit the secondary entrance assessment examination in 2 weeks, parents are being assured that all has been put in place to ensure students are prepared for the big day. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
As hundreds of students get set to sit the secondary entrance assessment exam in 2 weeks, parents are being assured that all has been put in place to ensure students are prepared for the big day. This year, the exams are being held on May 10th, 2 months later than the usual exam date held years gone by. Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh says students and parents have been briefed on the exam procedure and that rehearsals were taking place at all primary schools across the nation.
The Ministry of Education, within the last 4 weeks, have sent information to school principals on certain measures that should be adopted by the schools and the teachers to assist these students in preparation for the examination.
Chief Education Officer at the Ministry, Harilal Sicharan, added that this was necessary to alleviate any sort of panic and unnecessary worry on the part of students and parents.
In addition to having students experience similar conditions so that the exam doesn't come as a surprise in terms of time and all of that, we have been working with our guidance Student Support Services Division. They have been sharing information in terms of treating the issues of student anxiety with the exam coming up. We have a rollout of meetings with principals that will take place and have started taking place already in terms of sharing guidelines for how students or parents can interact and support children during this period.
SEA results are expected to be released in the first week of July. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, we take a look at our sport report. Stay with us.
Honoring and respecting the elderly begins with you and me. And in the event of a disaster, your support before, during and after will be critical to their well-being. Build a support team where each member will have a specific task. Your team must include someone who is within easy reach of the elderly person. Make an evacuation plan and practice your plan. Stock up on special caregiving items such as incontinence items, cleaning and sanitizing supplies. Have on hand a minimum of 2 weeks supply of all essential medications. In the event of a disaster, accessing medication may become difficult. Keep testing and insulin supplies that do not require refrigeration for diabetics. Secure all medical supplies in a clean, waterproof, easy-to-carry container. Keep a list of medication, caregiving instruction, doctors' names, and contact information. In case an elderly person is relocated to a shelter, this information is vital to their continued care. Dehydration is a serious health problem for older adults. Store at least 1 gallon per person per day. Store at least 3 days worth. Consider special dietary needs when stocking up on food supplies. Safeguard important documents and provide an ID bracelet or necklace to persons with special needs, such as persons with Alzheimer's disease. Remember, disaster readiness and preparedness begins with you and me.
A message from the Ministry of National Security, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management.
Adults aren't the only ones who beat up on kids. Sometimes kids beat up on kids.
Every child has the right to be protected from violence, abuse, and neglect.
Because I shouldn't be afraid to go to school or play with my friends.
Because no child should be hurt by adults or by other children.
Because safety is my right. Stop the bullying.
Welcome back. It's time now for some sport news. The celebrations went on throughout the weekend at bases nationwide after the Defense Force's victory over Petro Jazz in the Super 10 Basketball League final. Following Game 7, News 4 Sports caught up with some key Army personnel. Wayne Cunningham reports.
The Defense Force copped the Super 10 Basketball League title with a commanding win in Game 7 of the final series. The final scoreline of 89-67 showed the Army, Coast Guard and Airmen's domination of Petro Jazz in Game 7, who had a similar performance in Game 6, which forced the decider. But they were no match on the big night before a capacity crowd at the Jean Pierre Sports Complex. The title is the 5th for the Defense Force in Super 10 competition. And following the victory, Coach Movin Unks Jackson was high in praise for his Petro Jazz counterpart, Barry Stewart.
Well, it's a well-coached team. You know, my bachelor on the other side. So he came up short today, but it's a well-coached team. And they deserve to be in the final. There's a knockout champion and the league champion. So this one was just ours.
While the celebrations continued, the staff sergeant indicated that his team will be back on the court soon.
I'm going to tomorrow on my Monday we go again. Because the don't start on Sunday.
Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier Kenrick Maharaj was also elated after the win, and he told us what it meant to his organization.
Tonight I feel really elated. It has been a long journey since game number 1, which we of course did not win. But we don't know how to lose. We know, and of course the Defense Force is accustomed to big league, so we know how to perform in this kind of setting. So I really want to congratulate the team on an excellent victory tonight, a convincing victory. But it speaks to the heart and soul of the team, which really speaks to the spirit of the soul of the Defense Force itself. We know how to win. We know how to put discipline and energy into a game like this. Of course, we are soldiers, sailors and airmen, so we still have a number 1 commitment to operations. So what you see here is really a team of people who are committed to sports, regardless of what the conditions for the operations otherwise in the wider landscape.
Once again, the main man for the Defense Force was national forward Stephen Leiter Lewis. He had a game-high 32 points in Game 7. Next up, the National Championships. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
Seeking your opinion is necessary to government's existence. Well, that's the way or the strategy government is looking at to take its policy making as it seeks to incorporate the views of citizens to get together with NGOs. The comments came from Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Roger Samuel, who says it's the only way forward if we are to achieve true development of our nation. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
Ensuring that civil society has a greater influence on the economic and socio-economic decision-making policies, as well as that government remains accountable to the people. It's what government sees necessary for the formulation of national policy, as it looks to the people before it goes to Parliament for the creation of laws that would enable better lifestyles for citizens. Speaking to the residents in Sangre Grande, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Roger Samuel, said seeking the opinions of the people was key to the decision-making process.
And the reason for the Civil Society Board is to now ensure that the voice, and I didn't say voices, but the voice of civil society organizations in Trinidad and Tobago can be respected through the means of having their opinions and views articulated at the highest level.
The minister added that consultation with the people are necessary if changes in society are going to take place and affect generations ahead.
The days of ignoring people are over. The days for having participation and cohesiveness and cooperation are now. And that your voice, civil society, you are important where we go as a nation and how we develop as a nation and the future of the nation and how future generations will benefit from what we all do together today. So we are not doing this just for ourselves today, but we are setting things in train and in motion to ensure that generations to come can benefit and they can grow up in a nation where all of our views are heard and all of our opinions as we articulate them are heard and to taken into consideration as we now frame and coin and craft national policy.
He noted that the voice of the people held the potential to create a domino effect of changes, not just locally but globally.
It is time that the voice of civil society is heard clearly and that there are not many voices that contradict each other. What's the objectives? The objective, therefore, of the Civil Society Board would be to ensure representation of all civil society organizations on key issues of community, of national, of regional, of international implications. In other words, what is happening at the community level? What is happening at the national level? What is happening at the regional level and the international level? We want to ensure that there is representation of all civil society organizations on those issues.
Government has mandated that civil society meetings take place across the country as it keeps with its commitment to the citizens to serve the people. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, a look at the Ministry of Education providing textbooks online.
Hi guys, I'm Wayne. I'm here today to give you all advice on what you should do and what you should not do in order to have a good beach day. First of all, learn to swim now, man. An old dog paddle is all it might take to save your life. Swim where the lifeguard is on patrol, and remember, stay between those red and yellow flags. Wait at least 1 hour after eating before going back to swim. Report any dangers that you may see to the lifeguard. And if in trouble, get on your back and float, wave your hand and call for help. Now if you can't float, that's where we, the lifeguards, come in. Now to give you some pointers as to things you should never do. Never go swimming alone. Never fake actions or call for help. You'll never know if it's true. Next thing, and we go on our way. But seriously, we lifeguards are here to save lives. Remember, you have your responsibilities as well.
Come to our beaches. We're looking out for you.
Thanks for staying with us. Government is focused on providing textbooks online. Education Minister Dr. The Honorable Tim Gopi Singh says the move is expected to benefit hundreds of students. Gregory Reyes reports.
Our
way forward in terms of the...
Students will soon be privy to online copies of their textbooks. The move is said to be part of the Education Ministry's drive towards going electronic. Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh made the announcement, saying that talks were ongoing with publishers across the globe towards providing textbooks online.
At the moment, we are working with the publishers of most of the textbooks for the secondary schools. We have ascertained that at least 4 of the textbooks so far in different subject areas can be obtained on the e-aspect of it. And we are going to be working with the publishers to see whether we can be provided with those books on the e-connect aspect of it.
The minister added that the initiative was being patterned after models implemented in Singapore.
We are also working with the Commonwealth of Learning, which spreads across 52 countries, Commonwealth countries, which seek to gather information from in education across the 52 countries and bringing this to the forefront for all of us to benefit from. IDA Singapore also has 1 or 2 editions that we are working to get as well from them.
It is also expected that students will have the opportunity to be interactive on whiteboards provided online.
I know mathematics in the secondary school. Mathematics, Singapore has a mathematics textbook by Cavendish, Marshall Cavendish, which I saw for myself when I went to Singapore about 6 months ago. And they were using this online aspect of it with interactive whiteboards between the teachers and the students in the class. So that is one for sure. And so we're going to be approaching these publishers for these versions. But of course, goes hand in hand with that, we will also have to provide the interactive whiteboards for the secondary schools as well.
Minister Gopi Singh says the move towards a more technologically advanced system will assist students as well as academics conducting research. Gregory Reyes, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. Thank you so much for joining us.